Oh, ooh, button mushrooms. Oh, I can't remember the last time I had button mushrooms. Oh, here we go again. Hi there. Welcome back, everyone. It is time once again for Cast Iron Wednesday, where every Wednesday a lot of people on YouTube get together and do some cast iron cooking. Some of us, including myself, choose to do it live because we are fools and we like having the internet laugh at us as we mess up. But hey, that's where the fun is. I mean, that's one of the reasons why these live videos are so fun. The other reason, of course, is all you folks who are kind enough to show up for these things. And for that, of course, I'm very, very grateful. I mean, hello, Timber Bear. Hello, Bookworm73. William Hurt, glad to see you again with your pork chops with tomato gravy, rice with rice with button mushrooms on the side. Life is good. And hello, Pibgorn, if I'm reading this right. I just finished my sandwich, liverwurst and cream cheese. Man, again, nostalgia. I can't remember the last time I had liverwurst. Hello, Gunter45 and John Nathan Sharper. Hi, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another fun-filled episode, I hope, of Cast Iron Wednesday. And I think I had better say from the start, just to reassure some folks, no, this video is not about vaccines. I know there have been some interesting comments over the last couple of days, especially with that last video that I posted on Monday. I am not going to be spending a whole bunch of time ranting and raving about that subject. I've already said my piece there in the comments of that section, and you know what YouTube comments are like. Here, on the other hand, we are out to have some fun. Besides, as you can see, I'm doing a lot better now. I mean, yeah, I do have to say that, yes, I did get my second COVID-19 shot on Monday, and yeah, I had something of a reaction to it. You know, a lot of people have found that the second shot really wears them down, and yeah, that certainly affected me as well. I spent most of yesterday just pretty much drifting in and out of sleep and doping myself up with Motrin, but well, as you can see, it's passed. And things are doing much, much better. It's back to normal, or back to abnormal as it is. And so that's good. I'm feeling good knowing that I'm protected as well as the folks around me. And that's really, I think, all we have to say about that. So thank you, William Hurt, for your kind words in the comments. And Andrew Bonificio, good evening. And Fluffy Otter and Bookworm73. Oh, yes. What happened? Oh. Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry. It's downpouring outside right now, and we've got an outdoor camera that got a little bit wet, but hopefully that shouldn't be a problem. Yeah. Yeah. I hope so. Okay. Okay. Oy. But other than that, let's not waste time because, as I mentioned already, now it's time to get deep and do some deep frying. And here's where we get to play with some cast iron, so which of course is what folks really want to see here. So without further ado, here comes our weekly roller coaster ride. Let's move over, take a look at the Lodge cast iron fish fryer. This is actually a fairly new piece modeled after their older fish fryer. Like around the 1960s or so, I think it was, they made this really big and heavy rectangular fish fryer here. This thing is pretty much of a monster. It's something like 17 inches long, maybe about 11 inches wide. This thing is big. It has 4 quarts of oil in it, and that only comes up to about halfway. So yeah, this is definitely one big pan here. The older model of it was actually thicker, and it had 4 little feet on the bottom. On the other hand, a couple of years ago, Lodge came out with a remake of this, and with that one, it had a flat bottom, which is good. That means I can rest it on my cheap electric burner here and heat up some oil. So yeah, this is some good stuff. because I've found as well when it comes to doing frying like this, having a lot of surface space is really, really good. It's also deep enough that at least some of the splatter will be contained. So, I mean, it is certainly possible to deep fry in a regular cast iron skillet, but really for things like this, if you really want to do some deep frying, I would recommend something deep, like a Dutch oven, for instance. Those things are excellent for deep frying, and I really certainly do recommend it. I mean, I guess that's why you can even say cast iron is yet another reason why cast iron is the best, in that you can deep fry in cast iron better than just about anything else, and that's what I certainly intend to do. So, having said that, let me move this over a little bit, and I better start spreading out some dough here because I prepared some dough for doughnuts. Because that I figure would be a nice way to start. Means I've got to quickly flour my surface. There we go. Off to a decent start at least. And then with that, we just go plop. Add a little bit more flour on top. No need to skimp on it because we spread this out nicely. Oh yeah, that should do pretty nicely here. I'll move this aside now so that we have more room. Yeah, this dough I actually prepared a couple of days ago. I've got a whole video of that I'm getting. Oops, I better move this closer. In fact, there we go. That should be better. I've got a whole video that I'm preparing to do for these donuts, because this is not just donut dough. This, in fact, is, some of you may have heard of spud nuts. Yes, those that was a recipe from the early to mid 20th century, which there was a very popular franchise in those days called Spud Nuts. Basically, that is donuts made with, well, yeah, your usual flour and everything, but you also add potatoes to them, both for taste as well as to help with the structure of the donuts, and it works very, very well too. This dough was very easy to put together, and as you can see, it rolls out very nicely. It's not like pizza dough here. It's not really springing back very much. It's not hard to do this at all. So, really, just that easy. I was able to make almost 2 dozen donuts, and there was all of this dough left. So this is, of course, why not use it up tonight? And that sure didn't take long at all, did it? So that means we get to break out our donut cutter and start having some fun. No point wasting time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. We've got a baker's dozen of donuts here. So, indeed, it's really how easy it is. However, because these things cook pretty fast, I do have to at least be sure they are all ready before we toss them into the batter. So, it's 1. Come on. There we go. 2, 3. I'm doing my best not to waste your time. I appreciate your patience as always. Yeah, as I said, spud nuts. This was a recipe that apparently was, well, at least popularized, if not invented, like during the days of maybe World War I going into the 1920s. But it was really after World War II or so that a franchise called Spud Nuts came around. And apparently, especially in the Midwestern, oh, thunder, nice. Especially in the Midwestern United States, that franchise really took off. I understand there were several hundred Spud Nuts franchises at that time, and they were doing pretty good. Spud Nuts were one of those things, in fact, even today, the name is one of those foods that really conjures up visions of, like, say, around 1950s America. I can think of only a couple of others that really are specific to that time period. Like maybe baked Alaska for one, or really just drive-ins in general, I suppose. And here we go. Here's the last one. And with that, there you go. You could get your burger. You could go to your drive-in. You get your burgers and some spud nuts. And with that, we can start off with our first batch of donuts here. And this didn't take long at all, did it? Okay, chicken fryer works good too. Yes, it does. If you've got a cast iron, chicken fryer or a deep skillet, those things are great for deep frying. And some of these things are so easy. It's only going to take a couple of minutes to fry these things. That's how easy it is. So, spud nuts were the best. Oh yeah, that's what I mean. There are still some folks who probably remember them, who do remember them, in fact. But this is how quickly they go, and I just got to be careful not to splash myself with the oil. 1, 2, 3. Like I said, nice thing about this is there's a lot of surface space, because with a cast iron chicken fryer, you could do maybe 4 or 5 of these. Oh, I did forget one at a time. Whereas here, we should have enough room to do the entire batch all at once. It's the nice thing about having a big cast iron pan like this. Whoops, careful. I've got to watch myself here. It's sticking. All right, there we go. And it's going so fast that by the time we're done dropping in the last one, we can start flipping the first one. Just floats. And that's how easy it is. So from here, all I got to do, definitely, start flipping. Whoop. Okay, in fact, I need 2 of these. Here we go. 1. Come on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on. 5. As you can see, like everything else, I'm not very good at it, but this is so easy that if a fool like me can do it, anyone can do it. That sure didn't take long, did it? Oh, and for the record, the cats are currently in the bedroom and Jamie is looking after them, because I do not want there to be any accidents involving all of this hot oil here. So, but it's as fast as that. I mean, really. We're going to deal with the fact that our MBTA gave 2 broken trains on my way home. Oh, yeah, that sounds like fun. I remember the MBTA. You must be talking about Boston. I miss the old A&Ws. Yeah, that's the other thing. A&W root beer. And, of course, you can't forget an RC Cola and a moon pie. Hey, having said that, look at that. We are probably done already at this point. So, oops. Oh, okay, let me move this over a little bit. There we go. Let's do this right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry for sticking my arm in front of the camera. It's like because I'm trying to do this as fast as I can without dropping them like that. Right, there we go. And we're off to a pretty good start. And really, this video has only just begun. We've already got ourselves more than a dozen donuts, which means now that that's ready, of course, next step is we've got to quickly sweeten these things up here. So let me, here it is, move over. Here's what it is. Move over onto this side here, if you don't mind. Wait, take care of this, shall we? No need to skimp on it. Some of the sugar is going to melt anyway. Not take long at all. And well, that's a start at least. When I learned how easy it was to deep fry, I was certainly attracted to it. And then I realized, of course, what a mess it makes, which is, well, something we have to deal with nonetheless. Hello, Jessica T. Hi. And A&W had the best foot-long chili dogs with onions, of course. Oh, yeah, that's good. There ain't no RC Colas or moon pies in Boston. Well, there are the boxed ones, the moon pies. You can still get them even at places like Walmart or Dollar Tree. RC Cola is a little harder to find, unfortunately. One thing I had on my trip down south, in fact, was a deep fried moon pie, and I do regret not getting that, unfortunately. But nonetheless, we do have other things that we can work with. So let me see. I'm thinking might very quickly try to use a little bit of this, little bit more of this dough here. This is not quite the same as fried dough. That's actually going to come a little later, but I'm looking to see what happens now. I'm just experimenting at this point. We just simply take a big ball of dough and very carefully, because again, I don't want to burn myself, plop. Notice this one is a little bit harder to, not exactly going to float. I tried doing the donut holes before, and it did not really work very well, unfortunately. The donut holes were rectangular, and once they started frying on the one side, you could not flip them. So, taking the donut holes now, I'm just made a little dough ball with that. Yeah. And just purchased RC Cola at Dollar General. I've always been afraid of that mess. Don't try much. Yeah, there is that as well. Deep frying is really one of those things you try like once in a blue moon. Or maybe in a super moon. Isn't tonight the super moon, or was that last night? As I said, I was in kind of a daze yesterday, and I did lose track of time somewhat. However, then again, next Monday is Memorial Day, which is a special day, and people are going to be doing a lot of special cooking. And of course, there's nothing wrong with doing the old grilling of the burgers and the sausages and the hot dogs and everything. Those things are fantastic. But hey, maybe somebody will be doing some deep frying as well. Try turning that over, see how well that works. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is the part where Dad comes in and points at one of those things and says, "You know what that looks like?" And I better not even describe that. Oh, by the way, we did change the cat's litter box this morning. Oh, I'm not going to say any more than that, folks. I promise. That's all I'm saying there. So, uh, nonetheless, as somebody pointed out, though, yeah, I mean, as I said, I like using this big, large deep fryer because, yes, I have it. I'm very lucky to have one of these. But on the other hand, you can do your own frying in like a Dutch oven or a deep skillet. You can fry in a cast iron pan too. There will probably be more splatter nonetheless, but that can still be done. And this is so quick and so easy that as long as you have good supervision, that is, yes, you can do this with your kids. Oh boy, I can only wonder what this is going to turn out like now. Shit, got ourselves, really, it's like, I don't know, call it a donut meteor. Okay, let me go over and move these things over onto the side. Do this carefully. Oh yeah. And one more of this. That was fun. Finally, bring back a little bit more of that powdered sugar. There we go. Yeah. Two other things. One, yeah, it is a warm night out anyway, and deep frying is not exactly making it any cooler. I'm starting to sweat like a dog here. However, the show must go on, and I am going to continue nonetheless. The other, of course, is that, yeah, I'm doing sweet deep frying tonight because the thing is, of course, I could bring out some meat and veggies and all that and deep fry those. But once you deep fry, something salty like meat, then you really can't deep fry sweets in that oil. On the other hand, it could work the other way around. You start out with sweets and then move on to deep frying some meats. Still, okay, that is part one. Boy, and I still have a fair amount of this dough left too. Definitely gonna have to invite some friends over for doughnuts, that's for sure. I deep fry in the 12-inch Dutch oven. Oh, that's probably one of the best things ever made, I think, for deep frying. I mean, really, this deep frying, as I said, cast iron, you simply cannot do better with it. I mean, like, for instance, for frying a steak, there's the argument of which is better, doing it in cast iron or doing it on the grill. Well, you certainly cannot deep fry on the grill, folks. There's only really one way to do it. For a deep fried turkey, I know they have to use those aluminum pots because, well, of course, it's very hard to find a cast iron pot in that size or shape. I do shallow fried chicken. Shallow fried chicken tastes good too. Super red, full of red blood. Oh, I see. Okay, not dark here yet. Yeah, that's one of the other nice things about this time of year. It's probably one of my favorite times for it, in fact. Impressed with how clean the work area is. Well, it's only because we've just started. And also, most of the dishes and other ingredients are in the background, so you get to see the good parts. Such as when we pull together, I think, for our next bit of cast iron magic here. And that would mean, if you'll kindly hold up while I get to the wipe my head. I'm honestly getting sweaty here. No, I'm not getting dizzy. I feel fine. I've been drinking a lot of fluids, not alcohol. just fluids. That's better. And with that, we get to move on to step 2. This is one other thing I've been wanting to do as well. Let me bring this out in a moment right now. Another thing they talk about a lot when, as far as deep fried sweets are concerned, is, and you see a lot of videos for that, for deep fried Snickers or deep fried Oreos or even deep fried ice cream. Well, I mean, since it's all done in pretty much the same manner, I didn't see any reason why we couldn't do a few of each of those tonight. Because with that, all we really need are our some candy bars. Which have been in the in the refrigerator for most of the day, so they're good and solid right now. Even so, I'll have to do it quickly because it's hot in here. And some pancake batter, which I have to admit I made the pancake batter myself because it's so easy. I mean, really, once you've made homemade pancake batter, there's really very, very little reason to do that stuff, to get the store-bought stuff. One reason, because it's convenient. And yes, I'm sure there are reasons for that, but not always. I mean, it's really easy enough that, yes, you can whip up a quick batch of this stuff by hand on a Sunday morning. Let's do 1, 2, 3 of these. Break out our trusty Volrath tongs. Turn them over. And it's really as simple as that. And even here, it's only going to take about a minute or so to deep fry these, just to see how they turn out. I'm certainly interested. and I do hope the results are good. Haven't found any bar. I use my Dutch oven for everything. Saves splattering. Oh, absolutely. So I definitely do encourage folks to get at least one Dutch oven, because it is a massively useful kitchen tool. Whether you want to do a cast iron, a bare cast iron, or an enamel cast iron Dutch oven, that's really your choice. Anyway, here's the first one, covered in pancake batter. And we only need to do this for maybe a minute or so. It does not take long at all. Here's number 2. Boy, probably should have dripped off some of the pancake batter, in fact. Where's number 3? Actually lost it in the batter. Oh, here it is. Here. And number 3. So actually, yeah, that's another thing. A lot of folks do have pancake batter. Well, here's another use for it. In addition to, well, making pancakes, there's no reason at all why you could not do this and make yourself, and spend some time with your kids and make some deep fried candies. Okay, now let me quickly flip these. This does not take long at all. Boy, this is an odd shape. It's like a fish. And this, oh, good Lord. I probably shouldn't even say what this one looks like. I'd probably get kicked off of YouTube for porn if I said it. Let's say it's a mouse with a tail. How about that? My cousin concurs. Hi, Ms. Hey, Ms. French Twist. Hello. Hello, Ms. French Twist. Nice to see you back. And once I made my own batter, yeah, that's Joseph Ortiz. Once I made my own batter, I never went back. Indeed, pancake batter is so easy to make. Like everything, it takes a little bit of practice, but really only a little bit. And the nice thing, of course, is if you make any mistakes, you still get to eat them. And it's as easy as that. So And there we go. And that's 3. And now, once again, all I have to do is get our powdered sugar. Because it's if they're not sweet enough. Cool off pretty fast, but I'm sure they're pretty hot on the inside, so we still have to let these cool off yet. All right. And having done that, let's get to our next batch. These ones, Jamie suggests that maybe these ones may not work so well because the insides are too solid. That would be Kit Kats. Well, to which I say, no reason why we can't try it. In fact, let's move it over this way. And I pointed out to Jamie, I said, you know, the disadvantages of this is we're going to have a whole bunch of deep fried sweets to at the end of this. And she said, oh, darn, what a shame. Oh, whatever shall we do? Okay, yeah, I kind of took the hint there. Oops, here I am dripping this batter all over the place. So my workspace is not as clean as it should be now, which is typical for me, unfortunately. But all I can say is I do my best. Having said that, time to do some Kit Kats. Here's 1. Here's 2. And here's 3. Yeah, the thing about keeping them cold is not only so that the chocolate doesn't melt before it goes in, but actually, this is fast enough that it is that while the chocolate is supposed to melt, it should not burn. And I left my on the other side again. These things keep floating over to the edge. Oh, this one looks like it turned over already. Well, that was convenient. 2 and 3. And even by the time I turn them over, they are done. Well, that's how come they're one reason why they're so popular at Carney's. They're so fast and easy to make. And once again, one, 2, and 3. Here we go. Having done this, all right, I've already filled up this tray. I'm going to have to move this tray over as quickly as I can. So, oh yes, crying Oreo. Well, I guess those are going to have to come next. So give me one moment because it looks like I've kind of run out of room on my tray. So I'm going to have to quickly rearrange that. Once again, thank you everyone for your patience. And whoa, moving as quickly as I can while still trying not to spill things. That's not that easy, unfortunately. I can only say I'm doing my best. So, as always, thank you very much for putting up with this. Okay. Apologize for the delay. I'm moving as ouch, hot. Wow. I'm moving as fast as I can. 3, 2, 4. These things. 6, 8, 10, 11, 12. There we go. All right. Thank you once again for waiting, folks. Sorry for boring you like that. And ta-da! Twinkies and Oreos, just as you asked. Jessica T, Twinkies might be good. Joseph Ortiz, please fry an Oreo. Well, we got no shortage there. I'm gaining weight just by watching this. Yeah, tell me about it. I'm gaining weight just by smelling this. Oh, man. I had tooth work done earlier this year. I'm probably going to need more after this. Burnt donut on the stove. Yeah, well, that's one reason why I made 13. That's why they call it a baker's dozen. Came prepared. Well, I did my best. That's all I can say. Nonetheless, and just think, the companies are not even paying me for this. I actually bought these things myself. Probably should get paid for it in some way. Well, to be fair, YouTube is paying me for these videos, so I can't complain too much. Which is, of course, a good reason why I very much appreciate everybody who watches these things. So thank you so much. I can only hope I'm doing my best to entertain you. Ugh. It is pretty darn hot in here. There's no denying that. And here we go. I tried to get the traditional Oreos, and traditional Oreos are not as easy to find as they are these days, as they usually are, I found. All of those fancy type of Oreos, which I'm sure are good, were still pretty hard to find, unfortunately. Oh, no. They made the regular stuff pretty hard to find. Ooh, with the oak. Oh, I better check my temperature here. Hold on one second. Hope I'm not overdoing it. Yikes. Okay, time to bring this temperature down. Damn. I did not expect the oil to get that hot. Gotta cool this down quickly. Good thing that this is already the second batch of oil, so that once this thing cools down tomorrow morning, I'll be able to discard it. Still, there we go. Probably bring it down that good. Now, at the same time, unfortunately, I have to wait so that I don't overdo, so that I don't burn these things immediately when they go into the oil. Whew, that would not be good. And thank goodness I used corn oil here, which has a high smoke point. Nonetheless, why not remove the crusties from the oil? Yeah, we can do that. Let's see. Somewhere in here. Here it is. Got ourselves a spider. Oof. Really gotta watch myself, though. Yeah, that is some hot oil, all right. I am very glad that the cats are, in the other room right now. Whew. Do not want there to be any chance of them getting hurt. As mentioned before, as I said, this is a large cast iron fryer. They do make many kinds of large cast iron pans, but as I said, even better than a large cast iron pan, large, not large, even better than a large cast iron pan is a deep cast iron pan. Very highly recommended if you want to do deep frying. This one happens to be large and deep, and I do actually have a vintage BSR fish fryer as well. I chose to use this one largely because it has a lot more surface space. So now that I've brought this down a little bit, this is going to take a while. I think I can even turn this off for a little bit. Nonetheless, as they say, the shoe must go on. So let's try to do this as best as we can. Honestly, did not expect the oil to get that hot. I've said many times I've got a cheap electric stove. Yet, as you can see, even this cheap electric stove, plop, 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 plop. Even this cheap electric stove still does a good job heating up cast iron. That, of course, is how I ended up warping some of my original cast iron back in the early days before I learned the secrets of temperature control, which, as you can see now, I'm still practicing. I am not a master. I know I repeatedly say I'm not an expert because it's true. I am not an expert. I am still learning and will be learning for the rest of my life. Nonetheless, I like to think I've done at least better than I was in the past because I never heat my cast iron much more than medium these days on an electric stove, as I know all too well that if you're not careful, it will, in fact, warp your cast iron over time, and not a lot of time either. That's one of the things they say, but it is true, and yet, believe it or not, I've seen videos which demonstrate warped cast iron, and there are still doubters. Seems like no matter what you do on YouTube, somebody has to come by and argue with you. No, I'm not referring directly, that is, to what happened on my YouTube channel over the past day or so. But, I mean, consider, even there's this video, not by me, look up a video called How to Ruin a Cast Iron Pan. You'll see one of the other YouTube channels has demonstrated some cast iron that he unintentionally warped, and even he gets comments from people who don't believe it. They don't believe it was the heat that warped the cast iron. The evidence is right there in front of them, and yet, never mind. Still, that's what we get. Welcome to YouTube. Okay, here we go. Ooh, whoops, yeah, here we go. All right. Shit. Let's do one. Come on. Let's do one. Two. Besides, hopefully introducing this cold stuff to the oil will help to cool it off. 3. 4. 5. In fact, by the time I'm done entering in the last one, it'll be time to flip the first one. And 6. Come on, 6. Yeah, that's the other thing I should do. I should try making a funnel cake. I hadn't even considered that until this moment. Where did my... Oh, they're over here again. And there you go, folks. We have... Oh, this thing is floating like a balloon. You wouldn't know that there are Oreos in the center of this thing. And it did not take long at all either, did it? Come on. There we go. Yes, indeed. That's what we have, exactly as requested. Deep fried Oreos. Practicing temper control with hospital staff today. Ouch. My condolences. Were you in the hospital or do you work at a hospital? You do not have to say which hospital, please. I've seen instances where people have been stalked for admitting where they work. which is one reason why in all my years online, I have not talked about my employer, and I will continue not to. And likewise, if you work at a hospital, that's all you need to say. You work at a hospital, and that's enough. And if you work at a hospital, especially these days, you have my sympathies, my condolences, and my congratulations. Everything they say about you guys being superheroes is true. There we go. You'd never think that these things are deep-fried Oreos, would you? Now, excuse me again. I have to once again pour on the powdered sugar. Oops. And I got the view wrong again. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, like I said, I have to pour on the powdered sugar. After that, I'll answer some comments. Here we go. Yeah. Oh no, that's too much powdered sugar, said no one ever. Anyway, that's where someone always has to disagree and think it's very important to tell you. Yeah, I kind of lost my temper with one of the people on my on that YouTube video a few hours ago, unfortunately, only because I've said before, and I will say this only once. If there's one group of internet troublemakers that I really despise and have no pity for, and that would be conspiracy theorists. And believe you me, anti-vaxxers are among the worst of the lot. And that's all I'll say about that. Dano Ozark. I have my number 10 and larger up in the oven before using the coil. Oh yeah, I know. That's a good idea. Actually, you preheat your large pan in the oven before you put it on the burner. That way you get much more even heating to it. Very good idea there. And I hope you recovered from all of the side effects. Well, thank you, Frank. Don't want to see you going live chat from your hospital bed. No, I feel like I'm doing very well right now. If anything, I'm just a little sweaty from all the heat of this oil and stuff. But but really the reaction is largely gone at this point. It has been about 48 hours now, 2 days, and I am doing much, much better than I was at this time last night. So things are doing very good. But thank you very much for your words. It's actually very kind, and I very much appreciate that. Right. Now, do you see the new Lodge Dutch oven with the ridges in the lid? Ridges in the lid. I've not seen. Oh, wait a second. I think I have. If you mean the, yeah, they did make this oval, not oval, but they made this round Dutch oven with absolutely no no edges or corners on it, and it had a round, circular pattern on the underneath. I actually got one of those at the Lodge store a couple of years ago and then ended up giving it away. That was part of their Pro Logic series. I'm not sure if they're still doing that. That's the one where they produced all of their pans with a more sleek, I guess you could say modern design, where everything, there were no points, really almost no straight lines. Everything was done in circles or ovals. So, okay. Temper control is a good move. No telling what they do, unfortunately. The white stuff is powdered sugar because, yeah, like I said, there's no such thing as too much powdered sugar when we're talking things like deep-fried Oreos and other sweets there. Yeah, I was considering doing a sugar glaze, but to be honest, I'm kind of hot right now, and I wanted to do this nice and fast. I mean, after all, we're already 49 minutes into this, and we still have a little ways to go yet. So things are doing pretty good. I will say that. What do we have? Please take some time to tell us about that laser thermometer. Oh, okay. Let me bring that out right now. It's pretty simple. Here it is. This I got actually a few years ago. This thing was only like 20 bucks on Amazon, and even that was a few years ago. So nice and simple. It is a, like it says, an HDE infrared thermometer. Oh, good. The oil is back down to a more reasonable frying temperature again. Yeah, did get the oil too hot, unfortunately. But yeah, these things are wonderful, especially for moments like now, because, well, oh, you might have heard the thunder, because you don't have to touch it and have any kind of a risk that way. So yeah, these things are really great, especially for outdoor cooking or for doing things like what we're doing now. Okay. That is cool enough. So let's once again, like you said, remove some of these crusties. There we go. Now it's getting to the point where I think I can at least heat it up a little bit again so that the temperature shouldn't go back up, but it should not go down anymore. And anyway, having done that, we can move on to the next step, which, as you noted already, I've only done a few Oreos, but add that to the dozen donuts and the deep fried, what did I make before? Oh yeah, the deep fried Snickers and the deep fried Kit Kats. So yeah, we have no shortage of deep fried sweets here, that's for sure. All right, oops, let's go back to this view again. There we go. All right, now get to open a fresh box of Twinkies. I'll bet the Hostess people have come up with a name for it, like the moment when you first open up a box of Hostess cakes or something. Or if not, well, hey, Hostess people, you can pay me for that idea. I'm more than happy to share it. All right, here we go. Oy, Twinkies are not as big as they used to be. Oh, or maybe I've just grown up. I don't know. Still, nope. Damn it. Yeah, you don't want to crush it already. So here's one. Plop. Here's two. Maybe I should have done this in advance, in fact. Oh. Two. What you always get always end up removing some of the skin. And then I know when I was young, I always used to try to lick or use my finger and rub the extra sponge cake skin off of the package because, you didn't want to waste any of it. Not when you were a kid, that's for sure. Not with Twinkies. Three. Come on. There we go. 3 and 4. But anyway, as I said, this is really how easy it is to deep fry. And assuming, of course, you have good control over managing the oil and making sure young, tiny hands don't get too close to it, then yet again, this is one of those things to do with your kids. Maybe let them watch, for instance, as you prepare this. Because it really is that easy. As I said, this is really no more than just, coating these with pancake batter. And then into the oil it goes. And it doesn't take very long. And the results, of course, are delicious. I mean, I have not had any of these yet, but I'm certainly looking forward to trying one or two. And yeah, as I mentioned, they do cast iron deep fryers. They do not, of course, again, Dutch ovens are really, really good for that. You can do so, as we've said before, in a regular skillet. Even so, oh yeah, there we go. Oh, that's the way to do it. Blom. Yeah, okay, once again, I'm worried about setting off their porn filter because, yeah, here, this is food porn. Delicious food porn, and it's the only kind of porn I want to see on my channel. There we go. And it's as easy as that. Because now that means once again, it's time to fry. Or as I was thinking yesterday, as I was lying there in a daze, eat, drink, and be merry. For tomorrow we fry. Oops. Oh, damn it. That's what I get. Okay, let's not waste any more time. One. Ah, nuts. This did not stick very well, did it? Ah, this is going to be a very awkward deep fried Twinkie, unfortunately. Two. Well, the show must go on. It's all. Three. And four. You do what you have to. Could always practice, of course. Sure, no one would mind the mistakes made here. So, what is the white stuff? Oh no, I said that already. That white stuff is powdered sugar. That's right. I'm still looking higher up in the comments. Let's move down here. Move down, and that is I must have missed the segment on deep frying chicken. Oh yeah. Unfortunately, I'm only doing sweet deep frying tonight, largely because you really can't mix and match, unfortunately. It's like after all this, we could do chicken, but on the other hand, you cannot start with chicken and then go to sweets because, the oil will ruin it that way. So so it has to be either or. And so, again, I decided to do sweets tonight because, that's one of those things I've been wanting to do. There are a lot of videos out there showing these ones done individually, like, deep fried Oreos, deep fried Twinkies, deep fried Snickers bars. And since they're all done the same way, as I mentioned, I figured, hell, let's just cut out the middleman, do them all at once, and get it over with. Besides, this is some good stuff. Oh, man, look at the size of these things now. And the nice thing is now that the temperature of the oil has dropped a little bit, it's not going to burn. So, may actually have to flip these one more time. Of course, it's pancake batter, so that means it's nice and golden. So things are doing pretty good. I better not touch it. I think I'll wait a few more seconds before flipping it one more time. Oh, did the stream freeze again? I apologize. Oh, yeah, they look like paramecium. Yeah, don't they, though, with all of these little dangling bits in them. Of course, the dangling bits are nice in themselves, assuming you don't let them burn, as I've been doing, unfortunately. Did you try to restart from here? Anybody else? Oh, stream from here. Oh, I see. So it may have been only a temporary lockup, I hope, and I certainly hope that's the case. Paramecium. Well, considering what one of those things turned out to look like tonight, yeah, I would rather call these things a paramecium, and live with that. The underside looks a little more sloppy, doesn't it? Those are just little bits of it that have caramelized on the top. I think just a few more seconds, and these will probably be done. Unfortunately, the batter did not stick to these Twinkies quite as well as I would have liked. But, well, that's something to practice. Because, again, there's no reason why we can't practice. Butter seems to have batter seems to have a growth pattern of its own. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and yes, I am doing this in corn oil. That is correct. But still, that's another thing to show your kids. I mean, carefully, that is, and let them watch and see how it does all these weird patterns and it just goes off into little shapes on its own. That's a lot of the fun of deep frying, watching as well as eating the results. And I think we are almost done at this point. Nice. So far, so good. Oh, at least one of them turned out golden. That's good. Now I better check the thermometer and see if the temperature hasn't dropped too much. Yeah, the temperature is definitely dropping all right. So, have to bring it back up, unfortunately. It went from one extreme to another and pretty fast, too. So, there we go. So far, so good. We have just crossed the 1 hour mark. I see anemones. Hello, NCD. Howdy. And anybody that has barbecue in their handle is speaking my language. Oh, yeah. I do appreciate folks who do show up with their barbecue stuff. Barbecue is one thing I've not yet had enough experience with. I do believe one of these things is bleeding frosting, so I think that's a good sign for it to come out of the oil. This time I'll turn this over for the first time so that you'll see it right away. I've had some sea monkeys once from the back of a comic book. Oh, yeah, sea monkeys, which of course turned out to be nothing more than brine shrimp. Sorry to ruin that. One, two, three, four. Now, once again, the white stuff here is, of course, powdered sugar. And we are off to a good start here, I hope. I mean, after all, we've done some deep fried candy bars, we've done Oreos, we've done Twinkies, and in the beginning we did donuts. So let me just clear this out once again. And then I guess we have one last thing to prepare. This one I still actually have to finish. I have not finished the dough for this last one yet. Oh, this looks, well, it's too hot. This looks good enough. I could probably eat that, in fact. So I think I will change more thunder. Change the point of view here a little bit. And what do we have here? William Hurt. They got big, but didn't last long. Big Lou is here. Well, I certainly hope so. Frank Merlo. I saw in Walmart today. It's round, no handle on the lid, and straight. It looked a lot lines, a lot like a grilling pan for a steak. Oh yeah, no, those kind of grill pans, those are pretty popular too. At Walmart, they do sell the Lodge brand, and of course, they sell their house brand as well, the Ozark Trail. Ozark Trail ones are Asian made, and it's always you get what you pay for. They are rough, but they will cook just fine. Although, to be fair, and I'm not trying to be biased here, I got an Ozark Trail griddle from my friend Mama Bear, and she has said that it quite literally cracked after only a couple of weeks of use. So, but I don't know how hot she had the heat up in that instance. So. What else have you deep fried? Oreos, gummy bears? Yeah, I did Oreos, and as I mentioned, I've been doing mostly sweets tonight because, again, something salty would kind of ruin further sweets. So we've been more or less sticking with sweets tonight. There's no reason, of course, why we can't do some other deep frying another night and go in the other direction. Like fried pickles, some fried shrimp, and of course, fried chicken. And once upon a time, I had my comic capers as well. Okay, now, finally, the last step coming up, I think, which means I've got to start quickly mixing this up because the last step is going to be fried dough. Well, what else can you do when you're deep frying sweet stuff? I already have the dry mix already, and all I have to do now is just mix in some butter and a little bit of nothing more than warm water. So quickly, let me get the butter. And I mentioned already, you only need a couple of tablespoons of this as well. I'm following the King Arthur flour recipe for the record, so if you're curious about fried dough, just again, I got this right off of the website for King Arthur flour. I don't think the flour is King Arthur, but well, hey, they don't have to know that. From here, really no more. Start, of course, by mixing all of this in. Supposed to mix in cold butter, which is what I have done. I can see it's going to take a little while. The other ingredients are flour, of course, a little bit of baking powder, and a little bit of salt, and that's really about it. That's one of those reasons, again, why fried dough is so popular at Carney's. It is so cheap and easy to make. That's why, as well, they sell it so expensive, because they get a good profit from it that way. All right, having done that, let us get us nice warm water. Because, yes, the recipe does actually call for warm water, so we go with what they say. But, of course, as always, we want to do it a little bit at a time. And, yeah, that is one of those recipes I learned the hard way. There is a lot of physics behind it, which I forget the actual physics, but there's the reason why mixing your liquid in a little bit at a time will do a better job mixing than if you dump it all in at once. If I were to dump it all in at once, I would have to keep adding more water to get the same consistency. Regardless, this should not take long. And there we go. We're starting to get a shaggy dough already. So things are looking pretty good here. As I said, this last step here is going to be good old fried dough, which is no more than, again, flour mixed in with some butter, and, of course, a little bit of water. That should probably be more than enough, in fact. Hope I didn't overdo it. There we go. Things are looking pretty good now. I probably need it with my hands at this point, in fact. So, now this is going to be a little wet still, but let's do it. Swish. And besides, you got to be careful. You know what they say about oil and water, so I do have to be careful when kneading this. Still, this didn't take long. Having done this, we got ourselves a little bit of dough to make some fried dough. I just got to wash my hands very quickly, and I'll answer a couple more comments, and then we're on to the last step. Right. All right, what do we have here? So we got something to show or hide, and that would be, I saw a fellow student is asked me. Oh, okay, I see. Somebody's comment was hidden because he used a naughty word, but I've shown it because I don't think it's that bad. It has to do with those comic book stuff you're talking about. Food trucks, good food, affectionately called iron roach coach. Oh no, just call them roach coaches. Oh yes, food trucks. I have definitely developed a real appreciation for street food in the last few years, at least when it's well made or even reasonably well made. I like your field review, Big Lou Barbecue. Love my skillet as well. Mizzy, all of my old underground comics got stolen. Ouch. I'm sorry to hear of that. Elephant ears. Oh, I wish I had thought of that. I last had elephant ears 3 years ago in New York City. That's worth doing a recipe in itself. How do you reheat the leftovers? Very carefully. That's the thing about all of this deep fried stuff, as you know, you really can't nuke them. Microwaving really doesn't work very well. One option would be to use, well, the oven. The other would, of course, be to use the microwave, but only in steps. Don't do it all at once, like maybe 20 to 30 seconds at a time. Stop and then do it again and again. I own a food truck in Pensacola. That's Fresh Food Factory. I own a food truck in Pensacola. Okay, and 3-time award-winning truck last year. Congratulations on that. So, and yeah, I don't mind plugging you on that, so don't worry. Reheat in an air fryer. Yeah, that's another way to do it. What type of skillet are you using? Well, as you can see, a really, really big skillet. Specifically, the Lodge cast iron fish fryer. I hope this hasn't gotten too hot again. No, actually, we're at a nice temperature right now, so things are pretty good right now. I should probably even start with the dough right now. But yes, this is a Lodge cast iron fish fryer, which is a really big hulk of a cast iron pan, and it's a great, great deep fryer. In fact, I had better get rid of some more of these little crusties here before we continue. And then after that, we should be ready to deep fry one last time. But yeah, as I mentioned, Lodge re-released this big deep fish fryer here only about 2 years ago. I saw one of these as well, one of the original ones at the National Cornbread Festival. Somebody was making a huge bunch of deep fried little cornbread balls at a time. Because yeah, this thing is great because it has a lot of surface area, and so you can do a lot of deep frying at once. And that's one reason why I am looking forward to it. Hoping I've done this right. Only way to find out. I'm just doing little pieces here. Largely because I mentioned already, I am an amateur here. And what I do want to be sure is that this is not overdone on the outside and undercooked on the inside. Ooh, also, I don't want to splash myself with the oil. So these are nice small pieces of dough. And when they come out, they will be fried dough. I'm betting, quite frankly, they probably mixed the dough a lot better than I did. I mean, you saw I did it very quickly here, largely because it's live and I didn't want to take like 5 or 10 minutes doing nothing but mixing the dough. Still, I'm thinking that this should turn out all right. But as I mentioned, this is, in fact, one nice thing about using a nice large cast iron pan, because I'm able to use all of this dough at once. And there's a lot of space for it. So that we end up with several decent pieces here of fried dough. I'm going to wash my hands one more time while this is going. And from here, maybe it looks like I may even have some trouble with figuring out where I'm going to put these things. Okay, I'll have to do it with this. We're waiting. Quickly get out one more. Here we go. I realized I forgot to get one more place for the finished product when it comes out. Like, there's probably not even going to be enough room for it all. Well, we will work on it. All we can do is try again and see what happens. Still, this is puffing up very nicely. Yeah, this is definitely not the same as carny fried dough, unfortunately. Something tells me I did not mix the dough enough. So as a result, it looks like what we're getting here are deep fried moon rocks. I just hope they're not as hard as rocks when they come out. Well, if they are, well, I'll consider it a lesson learned. That's all I can say. I just subscribed. Well, thank you very much, Fresh Food Factory. Oh yeah, Flaky Foont, and of course his dear friend, Mr. Natural, who I certainly do not want to hang around with. They look like fritters. I suppose you may call them that. Actually, it's supposed to be fried dough. All this is dough mixed in with butter. I experienced it when I was a little kid. My neighbors almost burnt down our complex. Ouch. Yeah, that's the thing. I definitely feel like I should have mixed the dough with a mixer. And I can only say that, well, the next time I do fried dough, I will do that. This dough was not mixed enough. But again, we'll just see how it turns out. It is mixed in still with some baking powder, so it is fluffing up nicely at least. Excuse me, let me get these things again. And they do not. Okay, good. Now I hope we need to boost the temperature one more time, and then hopefully we should brown these up just a little bit more. My concern, of course, as I said, is that I want these things to be done on the inside as well as the outside. Yeah, Fresh Food Factory and anybody else. I mean, as I said, what you are seeing is an amateur at work. I am not a professional chef, have never claimed to be an expert at this. I am self-taught and proud of it. And really, a lot of what you see on this channel here is really me just doing my experiments, or learning, I should say, how to cook. But it has been a lot of fun. It has been a really enjoyable and educational experience. And I can only hope folks have enjoyed watching that. It's really all I can promise from this channel. I cannot promise, as I said, that no, I can. What I hope to do is more than anything else, I think, would be inspire people. Whether it's inspire people to try cooking, to inspire people to try cast iron, or just inspire people to try something a little bit different. That's really about the best I can hope for my channel, and I really hope that people do get that much out of it at least. I cannot, as I said, I cannot promise that these will be world-class recipes you see on this channel here. Also, based on the last video from a couple of days ago, I also will not shy away from occasionally doing a video that is not exclusively about cooking in cast iron. Because I've said before as well, it is hot in here, yes. Oh, I didn't think of that, Probably should.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you think I've overdone it a little bit? Yeah, maybe just a little bit as well. Oh, these are deep fried Twinkies, and these are deep fried Oreos, and yeah, I know. I meant.
When I say.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I'm like, it's a bit much.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. And I'm thinking that, as I said, we're probably gonna have to. We are definitely gonna have to invite some friends to share some of these things. Yeah. So more of that. Yeah. That there is supposed to be fried dough, except that I don't think I mixed the dough well enough, and so it's turning out to be fried moon rocks.
I think
but
the oil's not hot enough too.
Well, there is that. The oil got too hot, and I had to turn it down.
Also, when you're even to rise it, you're gonna rise it.
Oh yeah.
My dough's gonna rise.
Okay.
You guys gotta get like pizza dough.
Okay. Yeah, that's one thing I didn't consider either. Oh well, that's all right. As I've said.
The good fried dough, it's gotta have yeast in it.
Yeah.
stuff be able to flip up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, as I've said already, I'm considering this an experiment anyway.
Yeah,
And besides, we have
like you gotta think about it. 'Cause
yeah. Besides, we have more than enough here that
you could have made probably this stuff into fried dough.
yeah, you're probably right, actually. Yeah.
Pardon my language.
Okay. Yeah, she's right. Probably. I think I did mess up the fried dough, and I will not be ashamed to say that. But hey, we can always I can always do it again another time, so I'm not too worried about it. Besides, things are getting along in time anyway. I'll get these things out of the oil, and I think we should be all set.
Yeah. You gotta go a little bit lighter when you cook stuff.
Uh-huh.
Oil.
Yeah.
A lot less. Yeah.
Well, that's partly as well the temperature, but yeah. Gotta work on the temperature control too. Papa Dan tried something new with my sweet cornbread. I always thought that you couldn't put too much bacon grease in the skillet, but I was wrong. Too much bacon grease results in a very brown bottom. Well, there is that. Those are a Twinkie, and if you want to try one, okay. All right. Oh, well, okay. Sorry about that. Wife here is calling a good night. Yeah, I think we are actually getting close to that time. And besides, as I said, I will again be the first to admit that this so-called fried dough probably has not turned out the way it was supposed to be. I am definitely going to have to call this one as to be continued, and I'm going to have to try again and probably dedicate a special video, in fact, just to doing fried dough and doing it right, so that rather than moon rocks, we will get fried dough. Yeah, I apologize for that, but nonetheless, thank you everybody for watching there. However, yeah, good night, fresh food. Yeah, good night too. And yeah, good night. As I said, I think we are going to call it largely because, as again, we've gotten on in time, and well, hey, we have at least got to play with some more cast iron. Next week, I'm probably not going to do deep frying. But I think we'll consider to see what goes on. Next week, of course, is going to be like a couple of days after Memorial Day, so we'll see what comes up next. Nonetheless, that's true. That'll be the last thing I say. Memorial Day is this weekend, folks, and the best thing I could say is have fun. Memorial Day is, of course, a day meant for remembering and honoring our brothers and sisters who have served in our country, and some of them whom have in fact paid the ultimate price. And for that, again, they certainly do deserve our great respect. And one way to respect them is by enjoying ourselves in a nice American fashion and doing some good, fun cooking with family and friends. And I'm not joking either. Cooking is a great pastime, and really, there is nothing wrong with honoring America by doing some good old American cooking. So get out and do it, folks, especially in cast iron. Do hope you have enjoyed at least some of tonight. I mean, most of this, I think, turned out to be a success. I'm definitely going to have to work on this fried dough. Nonetheless, yes, remember the vets. Yes, we will remember them now, and we will remember them always. Never forget. And having said that, I'd say as well, enjoy your night, everybody. Thank you again for showing up. Thank you for putting up with the comments on that last video. Although now that we have this here, you can put in some fun comments about cast iron and how I messed up this fried dough. I'll be the first to admit it. As I said, we've got moon rocks here. We don't have fried dough, but we'll work on it. So have yourself a good evening, everyone. And once again, see you all next Wednesday.